Next up, Will Campbell Jr. out of LSU, and his teammate is also on this list, and we'll talk about him as well. Played all 779 snaps at left tackle in 2023. And Rick, my first thought when watching Will is that he looks to be incredibly upright. Is that just me? Is that okay? Like, do you have any issues with that? Because he didn't necessarily get pushed around. It was just something that I noticed when I started watching him.
Because he has, in my opinion, he's not a true elite left tackle athlete. I think he has some lower body stiffness.
Okay.
But his length helps make up for some of his shortcomings at the left tackle position. Because I think he's really sound technique wise. I didn't watch the pass rusher versus Rice, Mike. I'm sorry about that. I try to watch this guy versus Verse, and
he's coming for you, Mike. That's the first domino to fall.
Be a smart ass every once in a while on this podcast.
And I just go deeper. No, I get it. I just go deeper.
I go against Dallas Turner, try to guys. Maybe that Rice kid, I'm missing something. I got to go back and watch tape.
Yep.
But I think this kid plays with a lot of smarts and awareness for a guy that's a little stiffer through his lower body. He does play on his feet. He's not on the ground a lot. You can't rush. If you rush him down the middle, you're done because he has great anchor. His length helps him with his lack of athleticism as a true left tackle. But I think teams are going to fall in love with this kid because he plays with grit and toughness, even though he has some athletic limitations. But I think he's going to be a tone setter on someone's offensive line.
I'll circle back when we talk about the draft range because I have a question for you there, Rick. But I'll ask Mike what he thinks. How did Will Campbell do against Rice?
Didn't play Rice last year. I think he's actually the better player right now. If we're talking about Will Campbell versus Kelvin Banks, like I think he is better.
Oh! I thought you were going to say Emory Jones, but you think he's a better player than Banks? Okay, interesting.
Yes, I think he's the best off tackle in the country right now. That being said, like he's got a bad body for the position. Like it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing as Kelvin Banks. He doesn't quite have that caliber of traits, but he's more technically sound. I think he's super consistent. There's really is a lot to like. He holds 320 pretty easily. To me, I think he's just a plug and play left tackle at the NFL level. May not be an all pro, but I think this guy's a future Pro Bowler that, I think both these guys are top 10 picks when it's all said and done.
Oh, interesting.
With Will Campbell, it's just very easy for him, a lot of the stuff he does. So big fan of his game.
I think he might be the toughest offensive lineman that we're going to talk about. I talked about him playing upright. That said, I thought he anchored really well, plays with heavy hands. Like the old pass rush chop, he seems to be able to withstand that no problem. I thought Jared Verse gave him issues to make the Florida State reference, but so what? It's Jared Verse. There's a reason Jared Verse is the first round pick and one of the strongest edge rushers in the draft class last year. I liked him better as a north to south run blocker. I don't know about he felt like a lumberer at times to sort of circle back to what we're talking about. I like Kelvin Banks better now, and we'll see how this plays out. But Rick, I was going to ask you, and Mike, you can chime in too, because you said top 10 pick. These are the names we talked about last year during summer scouting. So both of you stopped me when you would take Will Campbell Jr. over this player. So we talked Ola Fashanu, obviously. You guys taking Ola first?
Yeah.
Joe Alt. We know that Mike's definitely taking Joe Alt first. J.C. Latham.
I think J.C. Latham plays with a little better bend, even though J.C. was on the right side.
But he's going to be left now, I think, right? Unless something's changed.
Yeah.
I think Campbell's better a year out than Latham was, but by the end of Latham's career, I thought he's a better prospect than Campbell was.
Who would you draft first?
So Latham, I would have rather taken Latham.
Okay. And then the other guys we talked about, and Patrick Paul, he was sort of a hot name. He didn't go in the first round. And then Graham Barton, who plays inside, who was the first round pick. All right. Interesting. Yeah. All right, Rick, give me the comp and the draft range, and then we'll play the old game.
Yeah, I think he's a top 10 talent. I think he'll be the first offensive tackle off the board right now. I went with Tali Fuaga as my comp coming out, just because
tough and strong.
Toughness, strength, everything like that. And Fuaga had a little bit of athletic limitations, but they're similar in the grit and toughness that they play with. So I went with Fuaga.
Interesting. So I didn't have him. I had him as a second round guy right now. Well, I can change. I know offensive linemen are commodity. What?
Who in the second round?
The guy we're talking about, Will Campbell.
Harry, dollar bet.
I don't want to do a dollar bet on that, but I'm just in terms of where we are in the summer. He was my offensive tackle 3 of the guys that I watched. I liked him.
Oh,
but actually I take that back. He's not going to get drafted, Rick. How about that? How does that make you feel?
right. Yeah, trying to get more clicks.
I know. I mean, imagine if I just said he was Donovan McNabb. Imagine what people would say to that. All right, here's the game. You ready? See if you can get one right. I mean, you got a 50-50 chance. Flip a coin. Ryan Ramczyk and Andrew Whitworth.
I am going to go with Mike saying Ramczyk.
Oh, you got that one right. That's right. That's right. And by the way, Andrew Whitworth went in the second round. You guys might hate that comp, but that's where I was going with that. And Andrew Whitworth is a Hall of Famer, so we'll see who's right in 15 years. All right, next up. LSU, by the way, games to watch if you're interested at USC on September 1st, and then Alabama, of course, November 9. Rick, who are the Alabama edge rushers we need to worry about off the top of your head?
I can't tell you that right now because they've got some new young guys coming in because they had 2 guys last year. But I'm very intrigued about this Rice defensive end.
Don't knock him.
This will be
Banks did. Yeah, apparently Banks knocked him.
This will be Mike's legacy. Huge Luke McCaffrey fan, Mike Renner.